Good morning, guys. It's the Intuitive Investor from StockTwits. So I really meant to release this video last night, but I couldn't. My wife got sick, and so I had to take care of that. So let me just give you the quick nuts and bolts for you guys who are not interested in going through the 50-something pages of this financial. Go to page 8. 12 months ended in August of 2017. At the beginning of this most recent period, we were sitting at 1.13 million cash. Now we're sitting at 78.2 million cash. That's the gist of it. We have plenty of money. Namaste is financially healthy. It's not at risk of bankruptcy, even though some bear released a report 2 days prior to this releasing. He couldn't wait 2 days. Jesus. So no one can tell you where we're going. And the reason why is because there's no guidance given in the financials report. So bulls are going to spin it their way, bears are going to spin it their way. That's a fact. So I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to give you the bare knuckles of what I interpreted. Also want to credit my friend Fernando, who was able to really digest most of this information. He's a finance major, so that's his business. And so basically this is what he suggested, which is kind of what I was kind of already looking at. It's a lot like looking at blueprints of a building. I mean, I don't know how to interpret them, but when you put it all together, it kind of begins to make sense. Going to page 8 again. This is where a lot of the stuff came in. That 41.6 and that 21.9, majority of that came from share-based compensation to management, and they did something pretty smart. They used collateral. They used bartering strategies, shares in exchange for compensation, shares for exchange for goods and services. Very smart move, which is the reason why we were able to hold on to as much cash as we did. This is more of an accounting thing where numbers are moved here and there. If you're in small business, I'm a small business owner, I understand those numbers that you move things around. It's creative financing, creative accounting. So this next part now is just more about my own personal feelings, my own personal opinions, my own personal interpretations, as is with everybody. Bears are going to have a negative spin, bulls are going to have a positive spin. With the limited information that we have from these financials, we are missing the guidance. We don't know where we're going. All we have is a picture, a snapshot of 12 months. We're in 2019, it's June, we're halfway through the year, so a lot of this information is probably very different and obsolete. So with that, I'm not going to put a lot of weight into the financials. Number 2, if you look at different pages on this, I think page 30 and page 42 has additional information about where exactly the monies were going to and what they did. The price right now is at 65 cents, 66 cents US. A lot of people are wondering what's going to happen next week or what's going to happen over the following weeks until June 25th. If you noticed, a lot of the shares that Namaste agreed to compensate people with are all in the $3 range, $3.15, $1.11. I think I saw some. They're 3 times, 4 times, 5 times, 10 times higher than what the share price is. So those businesses, those investors have no incentive in selling at these prices. No incentive. So they're going to bite the bullet. So I don't see some humongous sell-off happening because they're going to end up losing big. Number 3, the stocks experience an enormous amount of support right around the 50s range. And there's a term that we talk about when a stock goes up, because good news is coming out, and we say that the current share price is already baked in. So this is actually the reverse of it. This was trading in the 3s, low 3, 309, 306, whatever that was. and we've been experiencing a steady decline. And so for me, I think a lot of the bad news, the financials, it's already baked in. So if we were to drop, we'd probably drop down to the 50s range, I guess. But that's the bottom. There's no more room to go. That's what people don't see. It'd be different if it was trading at $2 or $3. Then there's a big pool of people who can still take their profit and run. But that pool is so small now because everybody who would see an incentive to sell had to have gotten in less than 65 cents. I don't see the incentive for anybody to sell when there's a part 2 already coming up, June 25th. It's literally 22 days away, and that will bring us current. There's just no incentive for a sell-off, but what do I know? That's just my interpretation. Any other points that I'm trying to make here? Other than that, when you're looking at the financials, you're also looking at businesses that didn't exist, flows of income that weren't coming in, that weren't accounted for in 2008. Chocolate still hasn't produced anything, but hopefully soon will. Pineapple Express, we increase our share count in that. Might see a bump in that. Yeah, I mean, if you really wanted to get into the nitty-gritty of just exactly who was being compensated and who was getting what, it's in there. It's just 53 pages. I have a life, obviously. So I'll rather skim through it, go through it, just really look at the first few pages, because that's where all the numbers, the explanation is contained, pages 20 plus and on. I'm just not that motivated, unfortunately. We also did see just where Namaste is also investing their money through the AFS investments. That's, I think, on page, I don't know, that's also in I think, page 30, where it highlights just exactly the investments that Namaste is holding. They're in a number of different things, and those things have obviously made the company money. So they're making smart moves. I'm actually surprised that Namaste is this financially healthy. I think the reason for some of the numbers that they experienced in 2018 had a lot to do with some of the management that has left. You know, in business, if the company isn't doing well, you always start at the top and you work your way down. And so it's unfair to ignore that there was not a lot of good leadership at the top. And so February 4th, when Manny came on board, is really the litmus test of what happens after. And June 25th will give us a good snapshot. I'm probably going to expect to see higher losses, because we're probably going to have to reinvest and invest more money to actually grow the company. And that's understandable. Well, I mean, that's pretty much it. I didn't intend to make this video last longer than it should, but there's the bare knuckles of it. I mean, everything's listed there in page 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, and all the way up to, what did I say, 8? Yeah, page 8. So we'll see what happens June 25th. Trading just started. We probably won't get an update for another few minutes. But state of the economy is really fickle right now, with the trade war now extending potentially into some tariffs into Mexico. We'll see what happens. So guys, take care. It's the Intuitive Investor. Please subscribe. If you aren't already, follow me on StockTwits. Come and see me. Take care.